Gurdjieff used crazy methods to destroy people's will around him.
So he was a wacky master.
Gurdjieff acts like a drunkard and rolls and abuses everybody.
Remember, you came here because you are aware of the need to fight yourself, only yourself. Therefore, thank everyone who gives you the opportunity to do so. Save the understanding of the East and the knowledge of the West, then search. If you pray and the devil visits you, make the devil pray too. These words belong to George Gurdjieff, an eminent philosopher, mystic, and esotericist of the 20th century. He was the founder of the Enneagram and the Institute for Harmonious Human Development. Gurdjieff was born in the city of Alexandropol, located in present-day Armenia. Despite this, his nationality and date of birth remain shrouded in mystery. His mother was Armenian, and his father was Greek, though some speculate about his Armenian Greek, Assyrian, or Georgian origins. His pseudonym, Gurdjieff, translates to Georgian. Gurdjieff's father was a carpenter, which is intriguing for those who find mystical readings of reality compelling, as both shepherding and carpentry have been common professions for prophets throughout history. His father was also a well-known bard, and Gurdjieff grew up listening to him recite and sing poems, songs, legends, and folk tales preserved through an ancient oral tradition. One story that greatly impacted the young philosopher was the Epic of Gilgamesh. This ancient poem had long been forgotten until archaeological excavations in Nineveh unearthed tablets inscribed with the story. This discovery sparked worldwide interest and eventually made its way to Gurdjieff, who was deeply influenced by the tale. Gurdjieff spent much of his life in Tbilisi, Georgia. In 1919, he founded the Institute for Harmonious Human Development in Tbilisi. Following the Soviet annexation of Georgia, he emigrated to France. Gurdjieff reportedly had a good relationship with Adolf Hitler, who was interested in esotericism. It is said that Gurdjieff suggested Hitler use the swastika as a symbol, advising him to change its direction because it revolved counterclockwise, which Gurdjieff believed would bring great misfortunes. Hitler ignored this advice. Gurdjieff's connections with Hitler were so secretive that they remain unsubstantiated, though it is known that Gurdjieff had ties with the Nazis, and his name is associated with the creation of the secret organization Thule. Classified Soviet documents reveal that in the morning of June 1950, Stalin issued an order to find and bring tolerable to the clergy and his membership in a secret occult society popular in Tbilisi at the time. Archived information about Gurdjieff's relationship with Stalin suggests that Gurdjieff gave Stalin a book that radically changed his life. The victory in World War II was attributed to this book. After Stalin's death, the book was found in his library, but has since been considered lost. Biographers of Mikhail Bulgakov claim that Gurdjieff was the prototype for Woland in The Master and Margarita. This theory is supported by the fact that in 1917, during Gurdjieff's stay in Essentuki, Bulgakov was also there, and it is possible they met. This meeting may have inspired Bulgakov's future novel. In the early 1940s, Gurdjieff traveled to Tibet, where he spent 10 years as a teacher and advisor to the Dalai Lama. At that time, entry into Tibet and the sharing of Eastern knowledge were strictly forbidden. It was the monks there who gave him the famous nickname White Devil. Gurdjieff's teaching is based on the principle that man is a three-brained being, consisting of three different aspects: body, emotions, and mind. He often used the analogy of a crew. The carriage represents the body, the horse symbolizes the emotions, and the charioteer stands for the mind. Gurdjieff describes man in this way: we have a carriage rusted and dented from disuse, without the necessary keys and bolts. A horse that is either lazy and weak or hot-tempered and ill-bred. and a charioteer who neither understands the mechanisms of the carriage nor is certain about the condition of the roads, nor knows how to drive the carriage and control the horse. Each of these three aspects of our being is necessary for our development, but in our current situation, it is impossible. It is necessary to work with each of these three brains. Each of them runs on different energy, feeds on different food, and has inherent resistances and hidden abilities. Excerpt from the book of Pyotr Uspensky, a student of Gurdjieff. The fourth way. We are created in such a way that we can live in 4 states of consciousness, but in reality, we live in only 2. In one, when we are asleep, and in the other, when we are, as they say, awake. That is, in the usual state in which we can speak, hear, read, write, etc. But these are only 2 of 4 possible states. The third state of consciousness is very strange. When we are told what it is, we begin to think we have it. The third state can be called self-awareness, and most people, if asked about it, will say, "Of course we are aware," while the fourth state, called objective consciousness, is beyond our reach because it can only be achieved through self-awareness. That is, we must first realize ourselves in order to achieve objective consciousness later. That Gurdjieff was a composer of music is in itself a remarkable fact. A spiritual master who, in addition to the main body of his teaching, has created forms of art which can be viewed as essential expressions of that teaching is certainly a rare phenomenon. Gurdjieff's sacred dances, or movements, and the 200 or so musical compositions he left attest to the importance he attached both to disciplined bodily movement and to the vibrations of sound in relation to spiritual practice. Gurdjieff's views on the subject of music, and indeed on art in general, stem from his differentiation between what he terms subjective and objective art. Most of the music we know, he says, is subjective. Only objective music is based on an exact knowledge of the mathematical laws that govern the vibration of sounds and the relationship of tones. He spent the last years of his life in France and died the morning of October 29, 1949. William Welch, his American doctor, said, "I have seen many men die. He died like a king." As Gurdjieff directed, the funeral service took place in the Russian Orthodox Church in the Rue Daru. The priest read the eulogy prepared by Thomas de Hartmann. It was written in such a way that the last words pronounced by the priest in front of Gurdjieff's coffin are from Gurdjieff's ballet, The Struggle of the Magicians. "Lord Creator, and all you, his assistants, help us to be able to remember ourselves at all times in order that we may avoid involuntary actions, as only through them can evil manifest itself." Gurdjieff was then buried at Avon Cemetery at Fontainebleau, not far from the Prieuré. If you enjoyed diving into the mysteries with us, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel. Stay tuned for our next meetup.